Welcome, everybody, to Ability MKE Now. It is an exciting episode coming up ahead. We have Jennifer A. Whitaker and Emily joining me. I'm Kurt Roskoff, bringing you a lively episode of The World of Ability. So The World of Ability, again, was started July 26, 2020, and it is disability advocacy, live streaming, and podcasting, all intended to showcase lifestyle development from the perspective of faith life, service life, lifelong learning, civic life, our gainful employment or enterprising, what we do for work, and then the play, so work hard, play hard. So hobbies, sports time, leisure activities, travel, therapeutic rec. And so we take a concerted effort to take a deep dive into the disability community. Our conversation starter is with all of our friends with intellectual and developmental disabilities, people from the deaf and hard of hearing community, blind and visually impaired community, everyone with a physical disability, those living in chronic pain, anyone with a mental health diagnosis, and folks who have a goal of substance use reduction. And having said all that, it's just a conversation starter, because if you start to look into the Americans with Disabilities Act, you will find that folks who have sensitivity to EMF radiation or the electromagnetic fields, all the stuff like with our Bluetooth and cell tower, all these 5G networks, and all of that, all of these smart homes, and all of that, people are out there that cannot enjoy their stay being in amidst all of that electromagnetic energy. And then you also have folks who need to ask us not to wear our fragrances, our perfumes, our colognes, and folks having multiple chemical sensitivity or any chemical sensitivity, all protected by the Americans with Disabilities Act, because the idea is access, to be able to include folks with whatever accommodations help them participate and to be involved. And that's what this is about, mitigating the circumstances between the disability community and all of the folks out there in the marketplaces and communities that are people that don't identify with a disability, but yet to fashion life, that life works for everyone. Everything is for everybody. So again, I'm Kurt Roskoff, and today I am with you live from Green Lake, Wisconsin. The Pewaukee Lake Water Ski Club comes out to Green Lake to become the Green Lake Gators. We're going to entertain the audience today and show them how, quote unquote, professional water skiing takes place. I took a look at a listing of today's event, and they went ahead and put it on there as that we were coming in as professional water skiers. And I'm sure the basis of that is our water ski club does get paid for tonight's performance as a nonprofit organization. So they give us a donation for providing the community entertainment going on at 6 p.m. Central, just 4 hours from now. So we have a few hours of activity with our club members. We're going to be dropping in our speedboats and offering our members to get loosened up and do a little rehearsal and get used to this waterway as compared to Pewaukee Lake, Wisconsin. And so an annual undertaking that we always look forward to. And we're out here at campgrounds of the Hattie Shoreward campgrounds. And so I'm standing right in front of a playground here. So a nice family-oriented venue here. We got a lot of travelers. The sun is shining. It's looking like it's going to be an absolutely beautiful day. Didn't look exactly at the temperatures, but might take a guess just from what it feels like right now that we're talking about 80 degrees Fahrenheit. thank you, Patricia McDowell, for coming and joining us today. So we have one of our proud Happy Neighborhood Project members, and Patricia working hard at Club 100 for the Happy Co-op and bringing us digital business cards. So Patricia, just sit back and enjoy a little bit. We're going to get a little bit from our co-hosting team here, Jennifer A. Whitaker and Emily Gomer. So Jennifer, I'm going to give you a chance to say hello and give a little greeting of your own and share a little bit of your passion in podcasting and everything you do as an author and all the educational roles that you play in the world. Take it away, Jennifer.
Thank you, Kurt. Hey, everybody. I'm Jennifer A. Whitaker, co-host here of World of Ability, also author and business owner of Jen's Books and More, where I am right now working on projects in my local market, writing books for other people who will basically own the book, but it will say that it was written by me, even though it's for the purpose of other people and or organizations, like the two I'm doing being for museums. So I don't only write my own books, but I also write books that other people want done, but maybe they don't have the time or they don't have the skills to actually bring it into being as a book. So I collaborate the ideas, make an outline, so forth for other people to eventually have a book, and should they want it, to have it published so that they have an additional source of income. I have one book that's going to be released to 49,000 online retailers and brick and mortar buildings in 2 Wednesdays from this past Wednesdays. That's about the 2nd or through the 4th Wednesday of August, that you will see Dealing with Autism out on 49,000 online retailers, brick and mortar, etc. And when you see that, you will also see it as being available on audiobook via Audible, Nook, and other audiobook mainstreams like even Google Books, etc. Even though I have new releases on the way, our next audiobook to be released will be one never released before, called Secret to Success, The Evolution of Public Education in the Workforce. And then after that, we'll start the series that's called Lobectomy, which is about how I overcame epilepsy from being one of the worst 30 cases in the country back in 2019 of epilepsy. Mine was considered highly debilitating and that I was not able to function in life at all. But it was considered worse because I failed every medication on the market and all other mild surgeries to end up at the point of brain surgery being all that was left, if any hope at all. And that said, I hope these books and audiobooks will help you in some way. And if not, please recommend them to people who may be of interest. And Patricia, would you like to give your introduction? Can I hand over to you?
Okay, well, thank you so much. I actually came on to support Kurt and Emily because I know this whole weekend they're doing a special segment for the disabled veterans this weekend. So I wanted to support them and congratulate them for all that they do and continue to do for our veterans who give themselves unselfishly. So my name is Pat McDowell, and I live in New York and also live in Florida. Currently, I'm in New York, and my business is the digital business card. And one thing that makes my digital business card, stand out from other business cards is that my business cards speak to everyone, because on my card there is a video. And why is that important? Because 14 million people in the world have problems with their eyes. They're visually challenged. So whether you have a paper business card or you have a flat, what I call a flat digital business card, your card does not speak to the community that has problems with their eyes. So my card has a video where you can actually say what it is that you do, and then say your contact information in the video, within the video. And in addition to that, one of the things I find very difficult to do is to text message with my eyes. So at the bottom of my card, there is the ability for a person to leave a voice message on my digital business card. A new feature that has been added about a week and a half ago is that we have a language translator. So if you're building your card and you want to build your card in, say, Spanish or in French or German and whatever, you have that capability to do that on my phone. So thank you for the opportunity. And again, congratulations to Kurt as well as Emily for doing what you do. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Patricia. We'll take it. Well said. And Barbara, we want to give you a chance. Thanks for coming on as ongoing panelist for the World of Ability. And so, yeah, we have Jennifer A. Whitaker here. We have Emily Gallmer anchoring everything as part of the hosting team, taking care of all the podcast engineering. Patricia McDowell bringing us the feature product of digital business cards. And I'm out here and enjoying an absolutely beautiful day in Green Lake, Wisconsin, getting ready to water ski and entertain a hopefully very large audience. Hopefully our show is very well attended up and down the park areas, hopefully maybe even over to the beach area they got here, and entertaining families, intergenerational fun in the sport of water skiing. But Barbara, what are you up to today? What is it that you're offering for the World of Ability at this moment? Take it away, Barbara.
Today I hope basically to be listening in because I'm also hosting for a Daimoku Tozo within the Buddhist community. So I hope that's okay with everybody. I really, and if I have something to share, I'd be happy to do it.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, we're all about being flexible and accommodating and being adaptive and so inclusive, accessible. So yeah, whatever works best for you, Barbara, works great for us. We got a little bit of a pack here, and it seems like Mariana Waikiki is trying to chime in. We kind of saw a little blip of connecting from her phone, but hopped off. So I'm trusting she's moving around, trying to figure out how to get in with us. So Emily, come on in here. You've been trying to orchestrate getting this huddle going here, and we're in an exciting weekend with Hopestock, and you're putting into our Zoom chat a lot of details that I hope gets posted, replicated right over to social media stuff. That we're doing a big social media blitz, Facebook, LinkedIn, and all the other possible social media elements for Project Die Hard in our response to veteran suicide. And Emily here is working hard on a daily basis to keep serving, viewers and listeners and making these shows and just helping guests come on and take advantage of the platform. So Emily, what do you got today? What are your thoughts? What do you want to share with your audience? Take it away, Emily.
I did share the Project Die Hard Facebook page in the chat, and I have also posted it on my Facebook and LinkedIn yesterday, but I was going to repost it. And it has Facebook Lives that they're doing from the Forward Operating Base in McCanda, Illinois, of the Hopestock event that's going on right this second as we're talking. That goes through tomorrow morning. And so I encourage everybody to check that out, as well as share it around. So we can get a word around about helping our veterans. And I think that's all I have for this moment, Kurt.
All right. Well, if you're going to pause at that moment, we're going to come back for a few more moments by Emily Gallmer. We call them the OMG EMG moments. So now we'll shift on over to Mariana Waikiki. So this is going out live over YouTube, and we're recording it for our syndication partners of the PAC channel. And we're giving thanks all the time to the Disability Channel for the great work there, the disabilitychannel.ca. And then Transform You Media Network with our podcast mogul, Marcus Hart. So we try to get this show out there far and wide. But Mariana de Mexico, I'm enjoying some great outdoors myself, and I see you're out there with a great view. And so what's all going on in Mexico, and what's going on with you personally, Marianne? What do you bring today?
Well, aloha, Kurt, and mahalo, and thank you, gracias to you and Emily for always hosting this on every Saturday, The World of Ability, and also being part of the Happy Neighborhood projects as well. And the ability to co-host as a sign language interpreter for you, because we have 500 million people worldwide with a hearing loss. And we have many millions of moms and dads coming home from being of service now who can't hear their own children or grandchildren, and may be affected with a hearing loss, tinnitus, ringing in the ears, vertigo, that can really trigger their mental health. So we are here in support of your activities, of what you're doing. I'm Marianne of Waikiki. That's my sign language name, my book author name. I was a case manager with the deaf back in Grand Rapids, Michigan, 32 years ago. And President Bush signed the American Disabilities Act. And we celebrated that last year with the Happy Neighborhood projects, with opening these events to the HNP Ability and Veterans Group. So anybody's welcome to come and join us. And I'm excited to be here with you in support of your amazing work as usual. I'm having a lemon tea with cucumber and water here in Cabo San Lucas. I'm grateful that I have this penthouse to stay for another month. And I'm working on the Acts of Kindness series projects. I'm the author and Apple app game developer. So I'm working on the sequel book novel called Cool Acts of Kindness for Climate Change, featuring 200 folk Manus puppets. My books are written with my co-writer Suzanne Sim, who is on the other side of Mexico. And Lucy Lynch is the singer, Lucy in the Perfect Wave, all from Unity Church of Hawaii, Waikiki, Hawaii. And I got to interact with my deaf friend Scott this week. He graduated. I signed for him for 10 years in Hawaii. He graduated in California as a veterinary assistant, and he's working on his resume. He'd like to get hired by Sea Life Park or the San Diego Zoo. And it's just been a very uplifting week. And a couple of days ago, I was on a FaceTime with my sorority sisters from Phi Sigma Sigma, Central Michigan University, catching up with them and looking forward to connecting with them. Several of them are teachers, and hopefully they will help promote the Acts of Kindness series into their elementary schools back in the Detroit, Michigan area. And I spoke with Leon McLaughlin today, and he's having an event on August 10th as well for Clean Water Foundations to bring filters for the Navajo and Hopi tribes up in Kirkland, Washington, up in by Seattle. And so many events are happening, but we're sharing out what we can do to work together to be of service. And thank you so much. Back to you, Kurt.
All right. Thank you for coming on in here as usual, Marianne, and good stuff. So I definitely want to bring out this repetition for our veterans today in today's show, because again, this is Hope Stock Weekend, brought to us by Project iHeart, our feature veteran service organization partnered up here at the World of Ability Podcast Network. And so we are taking these efforts as a project with Project iHeart that I call Hope Casting. So we are hope casting in response to veteran suicide. The idea is that, let's say 33 veterans a day, unfortunately lose their life to suicide, which means every couple hours, we lose a few veterans. So or in an hour and a half, a couple veterans. So it's just happening all the time. And this is something that, in a worldwide response, we have to figure out how are we going to get on top of this? Because with a statistic like that, that means it's not we do it during Hopestock, during a Hopecast, and we're good until the next event. That's not how this works. The idea is that we as a society need to figure out how we are going to rally ourselves as the troops for those that served in our troops, and to come in and respond in a mental wellness, mental health capacity. And with the Happy Neighborhood Project, the challenge I have for the 2,600 happy co-op members is how are we going to make sure all this happiness is very deliberately deployed to our veterans, to help bring our veterans into a place where they are building the faith life that they want to build, that they are able to continue serving, being service-minded that got them into the military in the first place. And then to help them learn everything they need to learn to continue this transition out of military life into civilian life, and to take our mixed up world the way it is and to build a life that works for them. And then being a beneficiary of the government program, Veterans Affairs and Veterans Administration, how are we going to discreetly and assuredly give them all the resources they need and to properly deploy the government-funded benefits that are intended for them, paid for, and to market them properly so that it does get to them as needed. And where there are unmet needs, where government cannot help them, how are we as a society stepping in and saying, we've got this in the private sector? And then with all the fun things we do, what are we doing to be masters of invitation? To make sure that our invitation is reaching the veterans that need us. To say, hey, do you want to come out and play? Marianne says, get out and play. So we have that call today for our veterans. All veterans around the world, get out and play. And if you find a challenge to get out and have fun and put that smile on your face and enjoy the sun, contact us right here at the World of Ability Podcast Network. We are happy to help you. And through Hopecasting and Hopestock and Project iHeart, we give out information on other phone numbers so you can talk to a veteran when you have a time of need. So this is an all hands on deck initiative. This takes everybody. At the World of Ability Podcast Network, again, it's about everything is for everybody. And shame on us if that's not putting the veterans right at the front of the line. So Emily, come on in here and let's make some more comments about what's been going on yesterday, what is going on with Hopestock today, and what can we expect tomorrow? Take it away, Emily.
Yesterday they had at least on their live stream they had a couple speakers talking about hope. They had their big hope message last night, which I listened to it. It was really good. But then they have food and music and among other things down there. And if anyone is so inclined, you are able to donate any amount you're able to. And so yeah.
What's that, Emily? What's next?
So I just my last thing was about donating, if anybody is so inclined.
Here we go. When it comes to saving lives, we're not bashful to bring it right to the bottom line. because we have Forward Operating Base Rush in McCann, Illinois. That is a property that we fortunately have been able to acquire through very generous parties, and a building that is there under a previous business model. And we have to do some rehabbing of the building and some other needs on the property to get it ready for veterans to be able to stay there. So it's in a condition where, somebody stops in a day and then leaves, before the business day is done. Some things can be done, but the intention is overnight stays to be able to set up a place to sleep and everything else with day-to-day living, and with the potential that if a veteran needs us, and maybe a veteran and their family, that we would be prepared to do so for, say, it could be up to a year. So this is what we're preparing for, and it takes funds. And the trick here, folks, is this is a capital improvement project. So that rules us out of a lot of grants and funding in terms of federal grants and other things out there. So we have to get through this initial hump first. We have to find our other sources, how we're going to get the capital funds to get this place operational. And that's the name of the game today. So, Jennifer, I want to bring...
This is for the building would be, first they had 20 acres, and then the building that was donated to them. But once it gets renovated, would have up to 12 single veterans, and then 2 veterans with their families that can stay there for up to a year if needed. But back to you. Sorry, Kurt. Didn't mean to interrupt.
All good. We're trying to pack it in here in pack channel style here, thinking of our friend Zach Layton, who's got kind of a big day today. But over to you, Jennifer, as an author, educator, and with your knowledge of Project Die Hard and anything you can think of in the realm of veterans. And you and I join into a corporate prayer session Friday mornings. So Jennifer, speak from your life experiences and what you practice in work. What are you thinking about with this project and being there for veterans? Take it away, Jennifer.
Well, I'm thinking at a personal level because my little sister and her other half
We lost your sound.
Did Jennifer lose her sound?
I'm here now.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, go for it.
So my little
Back to you.
sister is a disabled veteran because she served for something like 5 or 6 years, and she ended up breaking her back in addition to coming down PTSD as a price she had to pay of serving our country in the National Guard. And then similarly, her other half is still in the National Guard, but when she went to guard the borders and help out in, are we still here?
Yeah, he's still here.
Okay. And when she went to help guard the borders of all these people crossing, she actually was almost paranoid.
We lost sound again. Anyway. Sound.
Okay, Jennifer, are you coming back?
Look at the cost my family is paying so that they can help our country. And these are veterans, whether one's disabled and one is still in service, they're still veterans. There's still people that paid that price for our country, whether you're, politically for or against the idea of guarding the border and all, but still that these are people who were ordered. They did not choose to put their life on the line to try to protect us based on the orders of whoever was present at the various times. but their PTSD, anxiety, and other conditions they have are long-term consequences they're paying for what they did to serve us. Are we still here?
Yep, we're still here. So, Jennifer, I think we're going to move on over to Patricia. I just want to put in a little background before we go to you, Patricia. But with Emily here and Mary Ann, you know, we've got a little bit of history here with the Happy Neighborhood Project, establishing HMP Ability, and then Happy Neighborhood Project also established H&P Veteran Entrepreneurs, and I got involved with H&P Veteran Entrepreneurs, and we, with our captain Denise Vargas, and Denise Vargas being a board member of the Happy Co-op, I worked with her. We did a little bit of a merger, and we created what's known now today as H&P Supporting Veterans and All Abilities. And so, again, Patricia here, we met through the Happy Neighborhood Project, and she is a proud member of HMP with a verified Happy Business Plan, and a leader within the Happy Co-op as far as being a part of Club 100 and being with 100 of our friends roughly in Club 100, saying that we're going to invite 100 people into the co-op before the end of the year, and all in a drive to grow from 2,600 Happy Co-op members presently to over 10,000 members of the Happy Co-op. So very exciting stuff, and we got our support to veterans woven right into the mix of it all. But Patricia, what are your thoughts as we are continuing on with this show and going on and on about supporting veterans? Where are you at, Patricia? What is the place in your heart for our veterans? Take it away, Patricia.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. As the former majority leader of the Yonkers City Council, I served the first district in the city of Yonkers, which in my opinion was the best district in Yonkers. 201,000 individuals who lived in the great city of Yonkers. But I served the waterfront, and that's why I figured my district was the best. And in my district, while I was serving, we had a project very similar, Kurt, to what you were talking about, where they took an abandoned building and they rehabbed that building and made it specifically for the veterans. And they had a certain period of time in which they were able to live and occupy that building. And that building was rehabbed under the project of Habitat for Humanity. So I don't know, Kirk, if you had, for the upcoming project that you have, I don't know if you have reached out to Habitat, and Habitat had eventually split, and there's a group called the Fuller Housing Group. Are you familiar with them, Kurt? Are you familiar?
Excuse me, what's the question?
So Habitat for Humanity also had split. And so the founder of Habitat for Humanity started another group called the Fuller Center for Housing. And they continued the mission of Habitat for Humanity. So you may want to look them up, reach out to them and see if they can partner with you with that project that you have that you're looking for money for, because they have money, and that's in their preview of what they do. So you may want to reach out to them and have them, have a conversation with them and see how y'all can partner with getting that building rehab, because they did that in my community, but under the umbrella of Habitat for Humanity.
Okay, great idea. That's what collaboration is all about. And it actually does bring up a good point. I frame everything on, the devotion in responding to veteran suicide. But Project iHeart is set up to be a resource as well for homeless veterans. So in terms of what we're talking about in terms of a housing solution, this is part of Project iHeart. So, Marianne, I want to give you a chance to come in here. We've talked several times before about this veteran component. You are, deep into the deaf and hard of hearing community, and I don't know what the statistics are about veterans who are deaf or hard of hearing, but we know that is for sure a definite significant aspect. And then everything else from your life, Marianne, what would you like to say in terms of your work and what I built off of in terms of go out and play and all of your mantra? What do you want to put in here in our show being veteran themed today?
Well, again, Kurt, we have 500 million people worldwide with a hearing loss. We have millions of moms and dads coming home from being of service who can't hear their own children or grandchildren, and they can be affected by tinnitus. There's millions of sufferers, and it's a disability, which is ringing in the ears, vertigo, and basically a hearing loss, and which can lead to isolation and communication skills, dementia, all that. So we just want to show that, with the Acts of Kindness series, we're giving solutions for everyone to be of service, to learn the finger spelling alphabet, the 26 letters of the alphabet, with the Acts of Kindness series and the Folkmanis puppets. You can visit the website, actsofkindnessseries.com, and you can meet Dr. Fingers, the finger spelling hermit crab. You can meet Noah, the hard of hearing whale, who was recruited by the general of the New Earth Army to tackle the Great Pacific Garbage Patch and to be of service. And what kind of life is he going to have when he returns? And he's going to be a new father, and he's acquired a hearing loss. Well, we're giving coping skills for people, and it's great fun and activities for all ages of the heart, Kurt. And when the Acts of Kindness series, we're taking a global message, such as ocean cleanup of the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. And we're also have Rabbit Acts of Kindness No Bully for people who are bullied or feeling left out. And all this is all a part of mental health and mental health awareness. And May is Better Speech and Hearing Month. And we're getting back to school. So we want to provide these educational tools, such as these books, the puppets, the t-shirt clothing line now featuring the characters. And I've created 10 app games now, where again, you can go to the website, learn the finger spelling alphabet at your own time, 24 hours a day, and then go play the Apple app games for free and test your waters and skills. And there's a lot of aquatic games. We have Count the Life Jackets, Kurt. I know you're a water skier, but they're great fun, different themes, different scenes. It's online chapters for each of the book. The first book is Underwater Acts of Kindness. Second book is Rabbit Acts of Kindness. And we have Pono the Hawaiian Polo Pony. And I'm working on Cool Acts of Kindness with climate change. And we have that with Greta Gobble on the golf course. So there's lots of different activities to be able to keep that stimulation in your mind, body, and spirit wherever you are. If you are, out and about, or if you're in a vehicle or on the bus going to work, or going to get on the bus to go get your EBT cards, whatever situation you are in, shelters, it's just great activity. And it's also a great way for social spatial distancing, especially for schools, as we continue to overcome the spreading of the COVID and coronavirus. So these are just all options. And I met with the chief of audiology up at Tripler Army Medical Hospital in Hawaii. We're both graduates of Central Michigan University. And she cried reading my books. And they did try and get a $35,000 grant to use my books. See, the idea is that all classroom teachers can get copies of my books, Kurt, from an organization called Donors Choose. Marilyn Rogers, a special ed teacher who does Safe Day events, who's now retired, and thank you for service, Buck and Marilyn. She told me about Donors Choose. We met at Starbucks. We filled out this little form, how the school would benefit from these books. And she requested the books, 50 books, I think, and she got funded in 2 weeks from Donors Choose. And later that year, that season, Good Morning America raised millions of dollars over a weekend for classroom teachers from Donors Choose. So then what I did is the classroom received the books and they were reading about it. And then I went out and met with the classroom, and the principal came and the other teachers came. They were all excited to meet the characters and puppets. And we moved them around the classroom, learning the alphabet with a slideshow presentation. And we just had great fun. And Marilyn wanted to paint a mural of the characters in their school. And actually her friend, Franny McGee, the late Franny McGee, who was in Home Alone, she brought it to the Theater of New York City, and they painted the mural of my book cover, Underwater Acts of Kindness, in that theater. So we're spreading the acts of kindness, and it features Noah, the hard of hearing whale. So again, we appreciate everybody who's been out there for being of service, and they may have a hearing loss now. And we know with Ukraine seeing just what's happening, all these different countries, over in India, there's 30 million children alone over there that are acquiring hearing loss. And it's basically because of warfare. It's not being born deaf or genetics. It's because of our environment and what we are doing to this planet. So I'm excited again to share these Acts of Kindness books. Again, all classroom teachers can get copies of my books. And that was the idea with the grant with Triple Army Medical Hospital. If the kids are getting the books in the school system and they're reading about what's happening, they're meeting the characters, they're signing, they could Skype to mom and dad around the world. And now we have more Zoom now. So, and FaceTime. So again, it's great fun and it's a great skill and it's great entertainment. So that's the idea. And I look forward to partnering with you and your Sunflower Grant in the future. We're working with Trevor Gibbs, the American Disabilities Act, making sure that our website is ADA compliant. And we are getting our proposal for the grant ready. And I use that stimulus money from the pandemic unemployment to create the website, to create the books, as well as the online games. And I need an additional funding so that we can bring these into animation movies with sign language characters and share the good news with the world. And we'll be able to bring these onto military bases. And it's just going to be an amazing story. So, and when I was in Hawaii, I did a couple of shows on the military bases there. And Fort Schaffner, I knew the restaurant manager coordinator for events. She brought me up and a buffet, and I went around and shook the hands of the military families, and we thanked them. And we did some entertainment with a DJ Benny there at a time. I got to sign with the Air Force Band in Hawaii, in Kapolani Park. So many different events that we did over there to support the veterans. And it's just great fun, and everybody participated. And I got to do a show for Special Olympics with Marilyn and Buck Rogers, Safe Day Events, when I first came to Hawaii at the Air Force Base in a hangar. So we've gotten to do these amazing events and share the good news, all these different places. So we look forward to sharing them with your project, Kurt, and to bringing it into 25 cities. We appreciate everybody that's doing all these events for the veterans. And again, so go out and play. Here's our solutions of what we can do to keep our mind, body, and spirit busy. Aloha. Back to you, Kurt.
All right. Thank you, Mary Ann. Wow. That is power packed. This is a power pack podcast, very appropriate for the Pack channel with Zach Clayton. And it makes me think of when we were doing Aloha Fridays, it's what we were just talking about with Mary Ann. There's so much there. It's something we did, a short-term project of its very own show, Aloha Fridays. But certainly with all the podcasts we do here at the World Ability Podcast Network, it's an ongoing effort to help everybody catch up to the energy that is Mary Ann. So thanks for doing everything you do, Mary Ann. So Emily, I want to go back to you. OMG, EMG. It's another moment. What you got right now, Emily?
Before I say anything, I think Jennifer had a comment or question.
Yes, thank you, Emily. I wanted to ask Mary Ann if she would look in the chat and schedule a time on my calendar that works for her.
Yep.
And if Miss Barbara or Miss Patricia are interested in the one-on-one, you also can access my Calendly link.
Okay, great. And
In chat.
Mary, I'll put my calendar link in the chat also. Anything I can do to assist you. My background, my educational background is education into 6. That's what I have my BS in. But my master's, my MA, is in speech pathology and audiology. And I did take the sign language class, but not through college. Actually, they had it as a continuing ed class at one of the high schools. So people may want to check that out and see if their local high schools have a sign language class. But yeah, I would like to collaborate with you since that was my field of education and what I graduated with. So I'll put my calendar in the chat as well.
So what I'm actually kind of came to my my thought process, because I've been meditating a lot and I'm in a very peaceful penthouse here. So I'm shifting the energies, and I got a acts of kindness email from Lady Gaga's organization, and there's 30,000 schools, and they are bringing their works for social emotional learning curriculum. And what I'm looking for is I'm looking for teachers who pay teachers. So I need teachers to multiply the acts of kindness by requesting these books from Donors Choose, and I can come in on Zoom. So we have 30,000 schools. I am looking for an email list of how to contact all these schools and maybe find somebody to work on commission to help me connect with these schools to bring these books into the schools. And Donors Choose, through Donors Choose, and then Donors Choose goes through Amazon, and then that's where royalties and commissions come through. So everybody wins because the non do it. And again, Good Morning America over a weekend back to school several years ago. So I don't know what we're heading back to school. And these are great activities to get everybody to start spelling alphabet. And they're great characters, and we have a soundtrack. And yeah, so let's connect. I look forward to it. Maybe Barbara maybe has some pictures too. So got a list of teachers.
Okay, yeah, I would love that. One of the things you may want to consider, I wouldn't reach out to the school district per se, as a whole, because each school is different depending on where you are, or could be very, very large, particularly one in New York City. But what I would try to get a list of is the speech pathologists, and they're not that many. Unfortunately, when budgets are cut, and they're cut quite often in our schools, one of the things that are cut is social workers, as well as speech pathologists and music teachers. So you don't have as many. So I think it would be the speech pathologists who would carry that water for you. And that's who I would contact. I would try to get the names of the speech pathologists in each school district.
Everybody that's all participate. You never know, because we do have song and dance, and I did meet with different musical.
Oh yeah, I totally agree, but I think it's the speech pathologist that's going to carry the water to those individuals, to the music department, to the art department.
Yeah, sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Miriam, on the same line, what I was going to say is, since I had my tutoring company for 12 years, I have connections with 2 superintendents over the entire school districts of 2 school districts in my local area, and decision makers and various private schools in this local Houston, Texas area. So that, in addition to certain other things, are what I want to talk about at our one-on-one. And we may need to end up having more than one meeting, but I have at least some way I can give to you. So
no, let's do it. Let's do it in August. So I'm I'm setting sail in September. I'll be sailing to Cortez. So I'm taking care of as much business as I can before I go, but I look forward to it. It's all great.
And I may even know someone in a college, because I'd have to find out who to connect you with, but their vice chancellor is my stepmother.
All right. Moving it forward. Thank you, Kurt. And maybe Barbara may know some teachers too in Florida that can help us out.
Yeah, for sure. Barbara's listening in here for today's episode. coming in here as she's hosting with another event. So there you go. That's the devotion we have here at the World of Ability, doing two things at once. So speaking of multitasking, Emily, come back in here. We're kind of coming into our final segment of today's show, and want to make sure to get every little last thought we can squeeze out of you, Emily. What you got?
I would like to encourage, well, first of all, thank you to Patricia, Jennifer, Barbara, and Marianne for coming on today, as well as encourage everybody out there who is interested in being on a podcast or helping with a podcast to let us know. We would love to have everybody come on the podcast to tell their story, their message. As Kurt likes to say, be the star that you are. And to have conversations like we did, interesting conversations like we did today. And as well as encourage everybody to check out the Happy Neighborhood Project. There's 50 plus meetings with that around the world, as well as Kurt and I host a Happy Neighborhood Project group on Clubhouse. So encourage everybody to join us on that, Thursdays at 4 o'clock Central, 5 Eastern. So I guess my two biggest plugs at the moment, Kurt.
All right. Thank you, Emily. Fit in there fantastically. All right. So these shows, and this show for sure, is a social media engagement party. When we use Zoom, it shows everybody here on Zoom that this is being recorded, and it also shows that this is live on YouTube. That live on YouTube provides a drop-down menu, and you can go ahead and copy the streaming link and share that all over. So Barbara, Marianne, Jennifer, Patricia, I hope you can avail to us your Facebook and LinkedIn and other social media feeds and share out that you've been on here today, and we've had a dynamic conversation that those might want to peer in and hear the message that we produced right in this last hour. So it is something where if we can do this and also get over onto the Project Die Hard Facebook page, that would be fantastic. Brian Gibson and the crew there just would love to see those reactions go up, whether likes or loves or insightful or, whatever it all is, and then put in some comments. Say, hey, we were talking about you on the World of Ability Podcast Network, or, great to see that this all got connected through the Happy Neighborhood Project. And then if everything looks good where you want to share that as well over to your social media feeds, please do so. I know here in the Zoom, Emily shared a bunch of links and commentary about getting this out there. That's what we need to do, because the more people we reach, the bigger of service we are. And then if folks on the back of this can learn about the Happy Neighborhood Project, happyneighborhoodproject.com, that would be just wonderful, because that is a worthwhile community that, yes, if we could quadruple the participation for the Happy Neighborhood Project and the membership to the Happy Co-op, that would make for one happy conclusion to 2022. So we're going to make a little bit of rounds for last comments, takeaways, final contributions, and then we're going to have to button this up. So it's a little bit of a process I call a minute to win it. So Jennifer, you got a minute to win it. Good luck. What do you have for 60 seconds?
Thank you, Kurt and Emily, for having me today. I would like to say thank you to the program in honor of my family. As I mentioned, two family members that are in the middle or are or at one point before becoming disabled were in the military. And I have a third family member I know of that was in the military in the World War II who became disabled from it. But he was, my grandfather was more of the type that your program is trying to help, because he had severe depression and struggled with exactly what you're talking about, the suicidal thoughts and tendencies. Though he never actually committed it, he had plenty of struggles with it that had to do with being a veteran in war. So I'd like to say thank you for having me, and thank you for the program and all y'all do to help, like my three relatives and others who may be in similar situation, or possibly even helping the loved ones like myself that you never know could be that veteran's dependent. So when the veteran, falls victim, as you may say, that then somebody else falls victim as a result. But thank you for having me. And everybody, thank you for listening. I'm Jennifer A. Whitaker, the author. Thank you.
Awesome. Pleasure to have you, Jennifer.
So I was just going to say, we can move on to
Patricia.
Patricia.
Yeah, this is like the Happy Wheel. So, Patricia, the Happy Wheel's on you. You're next.
Thank you again for having me on the show. And I want to thank you and Emily on behalf of all the veterans and those who are disabled. But thank you for all that you're doing, and again, continuing to do for our community. I've already shared the post on my LinkedIn page, and later on I will share it on my Facebook page as well, and hopefully we'll get some traction with that. And I will share with my neighbor across the street, who is a part of the women veteran group. So I will share this information with her as well. And I look forward to continuing the conversation beyond today's broadcast. And I like to say that it was great meeting Jennifer, Marianne, and Barbara as well. And thank you guys for what you're doing for this community.
Our pleasure. Thanks for that, Patricia. And so now we're going to go to our lady with multiple alter egos, Marianne Ambrose, Mariana Waikiki, Mariana de Mexico. What do you have for one last thought? We'll give you one thought and then we're done.
Well, I just wanted to share with you, come to mind too, is, I encourage everybody to get a chiropractic treatment. Your 1 and 2 C's all affect the mind, body, and spirit, and we can get stuck or misplaced energies in us, which can lead to depression. And I highly recommend it. I got upper cervical with Dr. Joe out in Hawaii, and I no longer suffer from ringing in the ears and tinnitus. And it wasn't like a lot of severe or cracking or anything. It was very, very light touch. And he's amazing. So from pain to power. And also, I just highly recommend it. That can really alleviate a lot of mind, body, and spirit. And I just wanted to, as a takeaway, Kurt, I usually, I'm making a new Mexican dish. The vendor down there, it's a hot corn. It's the verde tostita chips with some sour cream and some cheese. It's delicious. So go out and play.
Awesome. Bon appetit. And yeah, I'll take you up on that, because when we're done, I'm going to go over and play. We're going over to Hattie Shorewood Park and getting on that shoreline and kicking up our sound equipment and music and getting ready for that opening skit between myself and my daughter Alana. And then we also do a concluding skit. So we are the bookends for the show. Fun stuff. So that'll do it for today. This was an absolutely wonderful World of Ability. I'll continue with adding another thank you to Jennifer, Patricia, Emily, Marianne, and Barbara. So leading ladies right here at the World of Ability podcast. So I'm Kurt Roskoff, and looking forward to seeing you on our next show. Thanks for being here right now. Take care and stay happy.